Today I'm going to color block a mountain scene, and I'm going to try to make it very white. Now this is going to be a really big challenge for me because I paint white. I paint a lot of color, a lot of contrast. So this is going to be really interesting. I went through my drawers, I had my coffee, I sat at my drawers, and I pulled and I pulled through, and I found this image that I had printed off. I think Unsplash is the name of the website that you can get free photos and free reference. So this is the painting. So I'm going to do this winter scene, and it's going to be great. So come along for the journey.
I'm going to do a voiceover for you and a little bit of a fumbling through while we chat through this mountain painting. So you can see here, I have a big 4x4, or it could be 40 inches, but it could be 48 by 48. I don't exactly know right now. And I've chalked in. If you see the faint white lines, that is chalk, just chalkboard chalk. And I use a cadmium red hue for the foundation of the painting. I just paint that on willy-nilly. I don't worry if the strokes are perfect or if the coverage is even. I just get rid of the white. I get rid of the white basically because it's scary. So you need to not be so scared of the canvas, and painting it a color is an awesome way to do that. Now you can use any color you want. I used to use a kind of a turquoisey blue. Some people I know use black, and it really doesn't matter what color you use. So then I did the inking stage, which I'm already onto the color blocking. I'm going too fast for my voiceover, but I did an inking stage where you see those burgundy lines, and that solidifies the drawing and corrects it if I need to correct it. So here what you're seeing me do now is the color blocking, and I'm doing the foreground first. Often I use the darkest colors first, and I love to pick up my paint on my brush. I pick up a few colors and I mix right on the canvas. I don't do a lot of color mixing on the palette. I use all the colors that I love that are manufactured by Golden, Liquitex, and maybe some is it Anderson? Oh my goodness. Amsterdam paints. So I use a lot of those colors, but I do mix right on the canvas. And I have some favorite blends. And I will do a video at some point of all my favorite blends. But one of my favorite blends is a turquoise by Golden, a teal by Golden, and then a green gold color by Golden. Those three produce a lot of the greens that you'll see that I use. I also love Hooker's green and turquoise as the really darkest darks of the greens in my paintings. So here's a little bit more of a close-up. You'll see that I'm starting with all those foreground trees, and I've started with the darks, and now I'm coming in and I'm adding lights. I'm not yet doing huge detail, but each stroke is so full of variations because I don't blend all those colors together that my technique lends really well to tree branches and such. So I'm also painting the rocks that are in this, and I once in a while I identify a birch tree or things like that. The colors kind of roll out of me instinctually, but I do look quite a bit at my reference photo. So here I'm starting the foreground. I'm doing the foreground again. So I find it interesting. I do tend to start with the middle of the painting. So I would consider what I'm doing right now the foreground, because that would be the very closest to you. And the tree line is the middle ground. I take, like I said, this photo was from Unsplash, which is a free reference site where you can go in and you can print it off. And it's very nice of people to include their work in Unsplash. So here now I'm starting to go up into that mountain. So I told you the challenge is for me to get this painting to look white, like it's a winter painting. This is not something that I do very well. I like a lot of color. So here I'm kind of squinting my eyes at the photo and I see the general shapes of the darkest shapes in that mountain. So I'm already liking it. I love that blue. It's probably a manganese blue mixed with teals and whites and some turquoises. And here I'm starting the line behind the middle ground. I often do that before I start what I call the background. And here the mountain, there's two backgrounds here. The mountain's a background and the skyline is then going to be a background. So to really do that first background, the mountain, I kind of come in along the tree line and I build so that I can freely have space to paint into while I'm painting that mountain. Okay, so here comes the lights. And I'm doing a lot of squinting here. I'm doing a lot of just creating shapes. This is the first layer. A lot of decisions are made at this time, but I will come back and I will do layer upon layer on this painting. And it was really, really fun, and it's a really neat challenge. I have never painted mountains. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that my son lives in Kelowna, and when he moved, I was very, very, very sad. He's one of my sons that really loves to chat, which is, if any son had to move to Kelowna, it's good that it's him, because he will chat with me. We will do a WhatsApp video call, and he can chat with me for an hour, and that is a lovely connection. I have another son that's an engineer, and he doesn't necessarily chat with me for hours. So I'm glad that I get to see him in person to pull out that conversation. But my son that lives in Kelowna is a really great chatter, and so are his kids. So we have a lot of time on FaceTime. But when they first moved out there, my daughter-in-law was very wise, and she said, why don't you fly into Calgary? You've never seen the mountains. Why don't you fly into Calgary and we will drive through? And like anyone, I've seen photos of the mountains. I have seen, gorgeous inspired mountain like photos, but I had never really painted them because I hadn't experienced it. And I found that interesting about myself, in that it wasn't until I drove through the mountains and was floored by what I saw, or even understood what I was looking at when I looked at the photos. They really are so big and so majestic and just beautiful at every turn. So, all right, so I've gotten the mountain fully color blocked, and now I'm starting on what you can kind of say is that third or second layer of background. And if you saw what I did there, I lowered my painting. If you see my wall there, it is called a French cleat wall. Each of those horizontal boards have an angled back, and I put little cleats on the back of my painting that fit right in there, and I can move that painting up and down and up and down. So here I am working that sky. So you saw that I kind of did that area right next to the mountain first, so that I can kind of freely paint into it. And I've changed up into a bigger brush. I'm trying to get variety in my strokes. And I think I'm getting it and having a blast. I think, is that me just popping back and forth? I think I do. I think I pick up, and I might even be touching the trees a little bit here. But here I've now built up and fully color blocked this painting and gotten all my foundational color in. I'm almost finished the color blocking stage, and I hope you've enjoyed this rambling of chatter. And you seem to enjoy listening, and I like revisiting, and I like seeing how it came about. I like the gray, well, right there where I'm actually painting it over. I was about to say I really like that gray spot. Well, there it's gone. Who knows why I got rid of it. So, hey, like and subscribe. I'm going to have a little discussion with you in real time at the end of this video. Give me a thumbs up because that helps. And here we go. Okay, so now this painting is fully color blocked. It is not finished. I have lots of layering to do. I have lots of pushing back the mountain by color, pushing back the mountain by contrast especially. So you can already tell from the beginning of the painting hours ago when I did the foreground how the acrylic has dried darker. So my goal in this winter painting, let me see if I can get the whole bottom in here. Yeah. My goal in this winter painting is to give it that real kind of cold look. So I'm going to have to dust some of these trees with snow and lessen how intense that is. But right away, do you see this like pink area here? Man, that is just too hot. That is pulling us right there. I've got to get rid of kind of some of the yellows. It's a real challenge to get whites to be white and yet to be back and further without making them pure white or a yellowy white. So that's the next stage on this painting. Lessening the contrast, which is what I was doing in the last little bit, lessening the contrast between the sky and the outline of the mountain, that will help push it back. So again, today I'm going to let it dry and come back to this another day with a fresh palette and see what happens. And here's the finished piece. I thought I'd pop in the photo and talk about this with you. If you look, I've lightened the bottom quite a bit, which kind of, you know, I was saying that the colors were very dark, so lots of lights have been added. And I think I was really successful in lessening the contrast between the mountain and the sky, and that pushed it right back. So here's my question to you. What do you see that was successful here? Do you think it worked? And let me know in the comments below, because I would really love to hear if this taught you anything, if you figured out anything that will help you in your practice. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.